Hello, Dr. Eric Cole, cybersecurity expert, coming to you live from the floor of RSA. And I will tell you one thing that really surprised me this year is that people tend to be migrating and focusing on the big vendors. If you're not familiar with RSA, the way it works is the North Hall is where all the big vendors are. That's your $500 to $1 million booth space. Yes, I said that correctly. Imagine that, $1 million for booths for 3 to 4 days, but that's what these big companies spend. And then the South Hall are the smaller companies. And don't get me wrong, these are still big companies, but they're probably spending anywhere from 50 to 100K for booth space. And at least in the past years, the South Hall was always crowded. This is your newer companies, your smaller companies, maybe your 500 mil to just under $1 billion range, and that was where all the action was. I'm just walking around this morning and I am shocked. The North Hall, where all your big companies are, your McAfee's, your Symantec's, that's where all the action is. It is packed. It is standing room only. You can't even get around. And I just came over to the South Hall, just looking around here, and it is empty. It is almost like a ghost town around here, and just sort of surprised, which what that's telling me is that a lot of companies are saying, listen, we've tried a lot of these smaller, medium-sized startups, and they didn't really deliver, so we're going to go with the big companies. We're going to go with the tried and trusted companies. So maybe things will change throughout the day. Maybe it's the North Hall had better giveaways or food, but I was just sort of a little surprised to see that many companies are focusing on the big players and the big solution providers, and that the South Hall is very empty. Now, I tend to disagree with that. Yeah, you can get some stability with the big players, but a lot of the cutting edge and latest and greatest are going to come from these smaller players. This is who the big players are going to buy over the next couple of years. So if you're looking for the latest, greatest cutting edge, then look for your smaller startups. If you want the stability of the companies that's been around and will be around for a long time, then you want those bigger companies. But I actually think it's a nice mix between the two, so don't discount some of these smaller companies. Like, for example, one of my favorite is on deception. I think that's a big hot area, and we see a few really solid deceptive companies over here that can go in and make it harder for the adversary to break in. And this goes way beyond honeypots, and I'm just not seeing a lot of traction at their booths. So definitely don't underestimate those smaller players, but there's a lot of new stuff coming out and a lot of great technologies that can help protect and secure your enterprise.